Have you ever wondered why collisions are becoming more and more complex? These dangerous situations can explode at any time, like time bombs. Videos from dash cams will keep you glued to your eyes because of the thrilling adventure. Click to explore with us and learn valuable lessons. As a smart driver, you will recognize situations to avoid to protect the safety of yourself and others. While he was driving, his eyes fixed on the road, a dreamlike scene suddenly appeared. A car, with foolish confidence, drove straight into the back of a car parked on the side of the road as if it were a failed exercise.
Как он так сделал?
The traffic cones in the middle of the road narrowed the path, forcing the car to slow down. As a result, it crashed into the back of the car in front, broken glass flying everywhere. Always pay attention and slow down when encountering changes in the road to avoid accidents and protect everyone's safety. As he passed by, witnessing a slight collision from above, it felt like watching a comedy scene. The collision did not cause any injuries or losses. It was just a joke of fate. As he stopped at the intersection with a dim green light, life suddenly became a grand spectacle as a car whizzed by, crashing into a nearby house, causing everything around to sway like an unscripted performance. As above, a car like a wild beast lurched, staggering across the lanes like an amateur dancer on a slippery dance floor. Fortunately, there was no accident. His car had a bed so high that the bridges became reluctant opponents. As he drove past, the bridge seemed to squint, silently touching the bed of the car as a small greeting. Nothing more, nothing less. While enjoying a peaceful day of driving, the guy was absent-mindedly unaware of the car coming from the opposite direction and swerving onto the road. A hasty turn, without warning, and immediately, his car gently collided with the other car like a collision of autumn rains. As he was gliding through the street, a silver car like a ghost rushed from the side, passing over his car as if it had just appeared from a magic trick. Always keep a safe distance and be alert to unexpected situations on the road. Perhaps because the night had suddenly fallen, he suddenly rushed into the cornfield on the side of the road, as if the trees were waiting for him. He, like a freak actor on stage, rushed forward despite the row of cars parked right in front. Only a moment of hesitation was enough to avoid hitting the roadside. He rushed through the intersection as if the red light was just a vague suggestion, and not surprisingly, a car crossing the street collided with his car. Luckily, it was just a light touch. The red car slowly merged into the lane, then suddenly stopped as if hesitating before a big decision. Standing across the road, it was like a perfect obstacle for the oncoming truck. And of course, the accident happened. Ahead, a car slowly swerved out of the line, while he eyes glued to the dim road without traffic lights absent-mindedly moved forward. So a light collision, but enough to make his heart pound. His car was running smoothly until a burning smell came from the back of the trunk. Soon, fire erupted, and before he knew what had happened, he had swerved to the side of the road. Luckily, he was unhurt.
Где выигрыш? Мы что хотим?
Мы ничего не хотим. Просто отношение к этим предпринимателям, бизнесменам примерно.
The car lurched forward like an awkward ballet, then suddenly turned sideways across his car. Just then, the container approached. A gentle but no less terrifying collision occurred. He was driving when he slid into a field of flowers by the road. Always drive slowly and carefully when the road is slippery. As he was approaching, a wheel suddenly rolled onto the road. Fortunately, no one was injured. This reminds us to always check our tires carefully before setting off. There were two container trucks ahead, and even though the situation was clearly dangerous, he still decided to try to overtake. It was not courage, but a moment of carelessness. While he was driving, A small car sped past him as if braking was an alien concept. He could only smile at the chaos. He was driving a truck on a familiar road when suddenly a small car suddenly turned without warning. He had no time to react, and a collision was inevitable. When participating in traffic, always pay attention to the signs from surrounding vehicles and keep a safe distance to have enough time to react. As he was gliding on a familiar road, an old car suddenly turned into the yard of a nearby house. Due to his lack of attention, the two cars collided lightly, like an unexpected meeting between two strangers at an uninvited party. He was gliding across the road like a street artist, just a little away from touching the car that was smiling defiantly next to him. Fortunately, everyone survived and no one had to sing the tragic song of the accident. That man, smug and reckless, flew through the red light, lightly bumped into two stopped cars and ended his trip on the sidewalk, like a rolling stone. On the congested street, he rushed into the car in front as if he was bowling. The result? The two cars crashed into each other, creating a chaotic scene between the lanes. When he reached the turn, he was so busy with his inner conversation about being a genius driver that he crashed straight down the road like a ripe melon falling from a tree. A car apparently unaware of the existence of traffic rules suddenly lost control and slowly drove over the front of his car, then crashed into the roadside like a child scribbling on a blackboard. In the early morning fog, he could not see clearly and crashed into the car that was slowly coming out. A slight collision in the hazy world of fog. In the fog, slow down and keep a safe distance to avoid a collision. He and another car passed each other like two gladiators in a tense match, but fortunately there was no accident. The two cars continued to pass each other as if nothing had happened,